Abram gave seed to Melchizedek in a valley after a war, and he seed to a unchangeable priest, which was Melchizedek. Now he had faith to understand that he was part of a promise. He had faith to understand that he was gonna his wife was going to bear a child at old age. And then he had faith to understand that he was going to be the patriarch, to be the one that be the blessing, the main blesser, because he was going to, out of him was going to become a great nation. That's why his name from Abram was changed to Abraham. Noah had to believe of this rain. Then we have Joseph, and then we have all the different sons of Jacob's son, which became the tribe. All these different people had some different things that God showed within the book of Genesis before we get to the Exodus book and the Exodus occurrence, when they get into leaving Egypt and get into the wilderness, that these people were doing things and showing great works and doing great things for God, and it's because they just had this faith to believe. Now we get to the place that we're in Exodus, and then God sets up now to say, I want my people to be the ones that bear my name, and I want my people to strive with me. I want them to struggle with me. I want them to move with me. I want them to walk with me. Israel, to strive with God. I want my people to be with me, and then I want them to be an example. And since I want them to be an example, let's have a covenant made so the people can believe who I am. Now, we just had a covenant made with Adam. Then we had a covenant made with Noah. Then we had a covenant made with the judges. Then we had a covenant made with the kings. Then we had a covenant made again that stuck, that had to do with the promise that stayed for a while. Now we have this new covenant that Moses is on the scene, and he comes and puts a physical covenant where he circumcised the people, he sprinkles blood on them. He says, this is the new covenant. And if you're part of this circle, you're part of Israel. Whoever's standing around, whether you're Egyptian, whether you're from another country, from another nation, long as you with us when we out here in the middle of nowhere, and you say you will do this covenant, you part of Israel. Now you're an Israelite. Now for the faith, y'all believing, and even though some of y'all are doubting and y'all don't believe, because a lot of y'all want to go back to Egypt, the people around you are believing God, to the point that when people come into the town, the spies come into town, they heard how great y'all were. Now they're afraid of y'all. You have to have some kind of faith to believe who somebody is, even though you don't know or see him. So someone had to pump you up so much that when you hear about these Israelites, you're believing that they're great people, and you're believing that they have this great God following them. So because of these people, it built faith around everybody else who they were. And these people have not even stepped into the place or stepped into the land where they're going to be yet. They haven't even stepped into the full promise of God yet, because they're still trying to get themselves together. Now you see this Exodus now that's talking about our current life. We go through this Exodus. We get to where, and we are stuck in this wilderness, in this land, and we think it's good, but it's not. Talking about sin. Egypt is equivalent to the sin. And then we get delivered. Deliver is talking about the salvation. So now we're in this middle section, wilderness experience, where we're building and learning and trying to understand God's way and believe in what he's going to do and follow him. This is building our faith. This is building our character. This is building our integrity. This is changing everything. This is shifting our culture, because there's some things that we learned that does not fit God. It's some things that we thought was God that's not. It's some things that people told us about God that really doesn't line up. So all this is happening as we're reading our word. We're learning about God vis-a-vis Moses giving us the law and the commandments. We're learning about God. We're seeing God do things through Moses. We're learning about God. We're reading our Bible and we're seeing acts and works of God in real life. So we're learning about God. We're in our Egyptian Exodus, but we're in our wilderness experience. Then what God is doing through Moses, what God is doing through Jesus, he's trying to get us out of this wilderness and get us to Canaan, the promised land. He's trying to get us out of this world system and get us to heaven. So now you see the experience is the same thing that's happening with the Israelites, is the same thing that happens with us right now. We come out of sin. We come into this middle section, which is our wilderness experience. This is life, and life be life. And we trying to take and go through life. And then we have this backup God, this word, this Bible that's teaching us things, is giving us this insurance, and is growing. And we have the Holy Spirit that's constantly with us and is making us better as a person. We're being perfected as saints. And then it's trying to get us to glory. So it's the same as the people, the Israelites. They come out of Egypt. They go into the wilderness, get this covenant, and then they start getting these laws and ways of how to act. And then it helps them, so when they get to the promised land, they're better people. All of this that's happening is also challenging the people's faith. All this that's happening is challenging my faith. So all this that I'm reading through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and going through the Old Testament all the way through the New Testament is showing and helping my faith, is the same way that's happened with these people that were going through this area. So what is happening now that the faith is changing to the point that I get this?